Hello, Michael here, looking today at Psalms 44 for our meditation, and we're going to focus on verse 1 for the exposition. This psalm, which is subtitled, Come to Our Help. And verse 1 reads, We have heard with our ears, O God, our fathers have told us, what work thou didst in their days, in the times of old. And so we turn to the treasury of David for the exposition. Verse 1. We have heard with our ears, O God. Thy mighty acts have been the subject of common conversation. Not alone in books have we read thy famous deeds, but in the ordinary talk of the people we have heard of them. Among the godly Israelites, the biography of their nation was preserved by oral tradition, with great diligence and accuracy. This mode of preserving and transmitting history has its disadvantages, but it certainly produces a more vivid impression on the mind than any other. To hear with the ears affects us more sensitively than to read with the eye. We ought to note this and seize every possible opportunity of telling abroad the gospel of our Lord Jesus, viva voce, since this is the most telling mode of communication. The expression, heard with our ears, may denote the pleasure with which they listened, the intensity of their interest, the personality of their hearing, and the lively remembrance they had of the romantic and soul-stirring narrative. Too many have ears but hear not. Happy are they who, having ears, have learned to hear. Our fathers have told us they could not have had better informants. Schoolmasters are well enough, but godly fathers are, both by the order of nature and grace, the best instructors of their sons, nor can they delegate the sacred duty. It is to be feared that many children of professors could plead very little before God of what their fathers have told them. When fathers are tongue-tied religiously with their offspring, need they wonder if their children's heart remains sin-tied? Just as in all free nations men delight to gather around the earth and tell the deeds of valor of their sirs in the brave days of old, so the people of God under the old dispensation made their families cheerful around the table, be rehearsing the wondrous doings of the Lord their God. Religious conversation need not be dull, and indeed it could not be if, as in this case, it dealt more with facts and less with opinions. What work thou didst in their days, in the times of old. They began with their own eyes had witnessed, and then passed on to what were the traditions of their youth. Note that the main point of history transmitted from father to son was the work of God. This is the core of history, and therefore no man can write history aright who is a stranger to the Lord's work. It is delightful to see the footprints of the Lord on the sea of changing events, to behold him riding on the whirlwind of war, pestilence, and famine, and above all to see his unchanging care for his chosen people. Those who are taught to see God in history have learned a good lesson from their fathers, and no son of believing parents should be left in ignorance of so holy an art. A nation tutored as Israel was in a history so marvelous as their own, always had an available argument in pleading with God for aid in trouble, since he who never changes gives in every deed of grace a pledge of mercy yet to come. The traditions of our past experience are powerful pleas for present help. Trust you enjoy the meditation. Michael here declaring yet again, Jesus is Lord. Until next time, be blessed.